Hello, my monstrosities. Hello once again. Today I bring to you something that I think GW should continue to do. So, I definitely will talk about when GW kind of misses, but I do like to sprinkle in when I think GW has a hit. And this time around, it comes in the form of the unit that I've been a D1 glazer of, Hyper Adapted Raveners. Are they overcosted? In my opinion, yeah. Do they do a lot? On paper. They do more than our other units, and I like them. And I want more of this direction. GW decided to give me a problem that I didn't think I would ever have in this faction, which is, oh wait, how does the bearer work when there's one, two, and then who's the bodyguard? And then there was a lot of questions that I then had to experience. But I think I want to continue to experience that. This comes off of the back of two things. First, a couple of comments, and honestly, I think that a few of them might not have been under my own video. I think I was looking at other people's opinions on things, and I also saw it there, and I was like, huh, things looks like we're all thinking that thing. Where Tyranids, we tend to have to ball up. Several of our things have to be in the same place for our things to work. So why not make it self-sufficient balls? Yep. Also, I wanted to continue this discussion from the last Tyranids video that I put out, I believe, where the discussion being had of how many like models a faction should get for release waves and things like that. And I am pretty happy about what we've got this edition being the big bad of launch as well as getting the kill team finally. That's pretty cool. Um, but I also want to continue that, hey, GW, yeah, some factions shouldn't wait 3-4 years for one character to come out. That's pretty absurd. Uh, and then a lot of things go into Legends on top of that. So it's like, this is actually like a -2 right here. So, yeah. But all of that to say, I like the Hyper Adapted Raveners. I like the design of a Ravener Prime with some Raveners being a datasheet called Hyper Adapted Raveners, and you can attach some more Raveners and do some more shenanigans. That said, I want this to apply to the rest of our primes. Yes, I want Wing Tyranid Prime maybe to get hyper adapted winged Tyranids. Yeah, the Wing Tyranid hyper adapted Wing Tyranids with Wing Tyranid Prime and two Wing Tyranids, also known as Shrikes. That would be pretty neat. I would love that. What abilities? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not even gonna, I at first then one of the takes I was like, yeah, let's keep the sustained here. I do think you keep the sustained, right? Um, but maybe the entire unit fights on death, which actually that would be pretty neat. We are kind of missing that outside of Invasion Fleet, so yeah, a unit that entirely fights on death, kind of like is it the Chthonian Berserks? Actually, their rules might have changed. I haven't checked if that changed. But like several units in the game that have fight on death. I would like a bunch of people, bunch of little guys, fighting on death. That'd be cool. So bingo, what's his name? Oh, I want that to happen to the Winged Tyranids. Now, I say Winged Tyranids, but does that mean that I don't want that to happen to the Tyranid Prime? No, in fact, I want that to happen here again too. Now, this is where we get into sketchy territory. Should a Winged Tyranid Prime, hyper adapted Winged Tyranid Prime, hyper adapted Winged Tyranids, theoretically, should they exist, right? Should they attach to Tyranid Warriors? And should Tyranid Warriors have the same situation where there's a Prime and then some Warriors as one datasheet? That one I'll leave up to discussion because I know people probably wouldn't like that one as much. Especially when you've just always been able to break out Warriors as themselves and go about it. But I think I do want a Tyranid Prime to be a different datasheet. I think I want that. And I don't want it to be costed way more than some of the other shit I'm looking at, like 30 point and 40 point leaders of other units. I don't want that. if that were to happen. I do think, however, I'll add this. I do want to add this. The same way that we still have regular Raveners, admittedly, not in their old iteration where you could break them out as like three little guys to three not so little guys to go do an action, possibly kill a unit. We don't have that anymore. Now it's a brick. I would like to see that continue, where there's a hyper adapted series, I guess. Maybe they don't all have to be hyper adapted, but I think that would be pretty fucking cool. So hyper adapted Raveners as a sheet that can attach to regular Raveners. Hyper adapted winged Tyranids that can attach to regular winged Tyranids. Cough, cough, cough. Oh, GW cough. I'm so sorry. I'm under the weather. Um, Hyper adapted Tyranid warriors that can attach to regular Tyranid warriors. I would like to see that continue. And I do want to see it as a melee and ranged variant. Now, do I want them to recombine the sheets in like 11th, hell, maybe even 12th? I don't know. I don't think I do. I don't think I do. I think I do like them in this form better, only because it makes it easier to identify what you're going to spend time on, I guess. I don't know. I don't have enough love for the ranged of any previous edition, or, like, I guess not ranged, the ranged loadout of Tyranid Warriors, I guess is the better way to say, that I care enough, personally. If I know people in the comments probably would be like, no, I want them recombined. And I'm not going to fight you on that viewpoint either. I think I really just don't. Whatever happens with them, it'd be whatever. But, I think it would be at least nice to have a ranged Tyranid Prime and a melee Tyranid Prime. I think that would be cool. Just add more flavor, right? It's just like, no, this one goes with the ranged ones and does something rangy. I don't fucking know. Makes it so that they have more assault and fallback, shoot, and charge, but also lethal and ignores cover. I don't fucking know. But yeah, just I do think that'd be pretty neat. But I want the hyper adapted series to continue in one way or another. Maybe not a series as it is just one, but I would like to see it become a series. I guess is that more appropriate. And while I'm talking about all these primes, you know what I want? I want my Trigun Prime back. I don't want it to be an enhancement and Subterranean Assault. I want GW to give me my fucking Trigun Prime back. So, quick one today, just to talk about what I would like to see continue on out of GW. I think they nailed it for the sheet. Mostly, I don't love this. Admittedly, don't think that they are worth this much, but they played it safe, and they have made some difference for us. Now, I guess I should add right here. I like them. I like them a lot. But I don't want to sell you on them too high to say that they will solve all of Tyranids' problems to this one datasheet. Because as we see in Subterranean Assault lists, and we haven't seen enough Vanguard Onslaught lists with them, to be honest, in my opinion, for the thing I'm about to say. In a lot of cases so far, we've seen that it's okay to just take the regular Raveners still. Just take those. While the hyper-adapted Raveners have a lot of cool things, I'd say that it comes down a lot to their current point cost. That they're good, but they're not so good that you're always taking enough to attach to every Ravener squad. And in fact, we've seen time and time again, and this is actually even backed further by, thankfully, Ron, who one of their list covered in the WTC review video. He found the video, commented, and said, because I asked a question about like like the other enhancements and everything, and saw that I don't know if the comment changed or whatever, but when I saw it anyway, that at a time like even the enhancements weren't worth it, making it just a character unit at a time. So there was times where you just didn't even attach hyper adapted Raveners to even the first squad of Raveners that you had. So like one game you have hyper adapted Raveners attached to one Ravener squad and a solo Ravener squad. Another game, all three separate units. So we've seen that come up time and time again. That this unit, while it's pretty good on paper, isn't that amazing to the point where you need to always attach them to Raveners and vice versa, where Raveners always need to be attached to them. Much different way that we haven't seen happen for the Winged Tyranid Prime and Tyranid Warriors, where you are taking a Winged Tyranid Prime if you're taking the melee warriors. Yeah, there's been like one or two lists that just threw in three to make points and do things, but beyond that, that's kind of where it is. So I say all this to say, to wrap up, I want to see more of this hyper adapted style of data sheets. So yeah, if you like the video, like it. Got a comment for me, comment. And until next time, peace out, my monstrosities.